Hans Riemer, right, he's a three-term at-large, and he, in his newsletters and in his interviews, he tells us that he looks to the prominent progressive counties on the West Coast for inspiration for some of his work. And personally, I think that's laudable, and Mark Elrich has mentioned that he does similar research, and that's all good. So what are those prominent progressive counties on the West Coast? Mr. Riemer himself mentions Santa Clara County, and he mentions San Francisco County. He mentions Portland, that's in Multnomah County, Oregon, and he mentions Seattle, that's in King County, Washington. And I'm going to throw into the mix Marin County, right, also in California. And none of those prominent progressive counties on the West Coast have any at-large. None of them at all. If at-large really were some type of representation and looking at the county view and it's empowering, then you would expect that at those prominent counties on the West Coast that we would find one overworked, underpaid, and lonely at-large. But there are none, and you have to wonder why. Now, San Francisco actually did have at-large for some time until the year 1976 when it crashed and burned. And here's what happened. Harvey Milk, he was the martyr to bring LGBT into mainstream American politics. You can draw a line from Harvey Milk to Mayor Pete, and I will miss him, to our own Evan Glass. He started it. And he had made 2 attempts to run for a seat on the county council there in San Francisco, but it was all 5, they were all at large, so he lost twice because he was blocked out by a small, entitled group of voters that because of the plurality voting, they blocked out everybody and they determined 100% of the at-large on the county council there. So Mr. Milk and his constituency, they made a referendum, just like we are, to abolish the at-large and to go to all district voting. And he prevailed in 1976, just like we will prevail in 2020. And what happened? On his first attempt in district voting, he won. And it's not about him. It's about his constituency, a significant group of voters that were locked out by at-large, and they got their share of participation in making policy. This is the proof that at-large is exclusionary. Some demographic is always blocked out. And this is why at-large has always been excoriated and denounced in the United States Supreme Court, time and time again. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she called it a form of control. Sandra Day O'Connor, Thurgood Marshall, here I have the quote from Thurgood Marshall. What does he say? Single-member districts are preferable to large multi-member districts because they more closely reflect voter preferences. That was Thurgood Marshall in 1980. And Chief Justice Earl Warren of Brown versus Board of Education, but in a different case, Allen versus Board of Elections, what does he say about at-large? This type of change to at-large could nullify voters' ability to elect the candidate of their choice, just as would prohibiting some of them from voting. This is from the United States Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That is an ideological spectrum. So we in 9 districts, we are walking along a path that was prepared for us by those 4 justices, by Harvey Milk, and by other American landmarks that we have yet to identify, and we would like you to walk on that path with us. Thank you.